Often in jewellery I find there are rules that people think. I'm not a fan of the rules. I like to make things that people want to wear how they want to wear them. My name is Christy. I help people celebrate milestones and special occasions by making jewellery for them. When I first see a client, it's really good to have a bit of a chat with the person and find out what their interests are and why they've come particularly to me, knowing that I custom make pieces. I will do some drawings so that we can have a look at some ideas, and then also I'll often make some models so that they can actually see what something might look like, so that will help them make their choice. The materials we end up choosing are based on a number of factors. One is what the piece is, another is how often it's going to be worn, and also definitely budget. In some cases people will come with a very set idea of what they would like. We usually work on that, and again it's the meat in the middle. But occasionally I'll also have people who just come to me and say, make me something, or I've seen the things you make and I'd like you to make me one of those. I guess the beauty of being an individual making jewellery is that I've got complete creative freedom. So once we've worked out what someone would like, we have to decide how we're going to make that. If it's particularly something a little bit chunky, then I will use a combination of recycled metal and new metal and actually melt it down. Melting's a fun part. The piece that you make there, we can put through the rolling mill to make exactly the size and shape of metal required for the job. So at the moment I'm making a piece out of flat plate, which is mostly just saw piercing. Quite often we use a thing called a steel block, which is for flattening plate or making sure that the wire you're working with is nice and straight. It's possible to actually just use pliers on the piece of metal to start with, to make it approximately round. You'll never get it quite spot on, so once you've soldered it together, so you bend it up and then solder it together, and then it goes on a perfectly round piece of steel called a mandrel, which then we hammer that to make it perfectly round. The next process is to file it, so that's to take the rough edges off and make it wearable. And then finally it's polishing, so there are a couple of rounds of polishing to make it super shiny, and ideally once it's been polished you would be able to see your reflection in that. I personally am not trying to make something that is fashionable. I'm trying to make something that will stay with you forever, particularly if we're making something like an engagement ring. I think the other thing is, if someone's coming to me to make a piece, chances are it's probably not something that's throwaway. If you've bothered to have a custom piece made to match a person, then hopefully it will stay with them forever. My favourite part of my job is actually all of it. The beauty of jewellery is that I get to design and make. It's pretty great being able to hand over something to someone that is exactly what they have asked for. That's a pretty great thing too, seeing the joy on people's faces.
You don't see many retail spaces that also have a screen printing operation right in the middle, basically. There's this big red machine in there, and a lot of people don't know what it does at first glance. My name is Matt. I'm a graphic designer and fashion designer and a co-founder of Curated, and I manage the retail here, both in-store and online. Curated is an independent streetwear store. It came together because we were looking for a bigger space for pure ink screen printing, and we also wanted to showcase all of the up-and-coming streetwear brands in Adelaide. With Pure Ink, we offer design services for clients. Sometimes people will come to you and they want to get something printed, but they're not actually sure what they want yet. So we ask them just to send us some references, stuff they've seen that they like, stuff they've seen that they want their product to look like. And then we do a couple drafts for them, send it to them. Once they like it, then everything goes into the printing process and then they have their t-shirts.
So the process of printing a t-shirt, once we have the initial design, we convert the design into a black file, which is then printed onto a transparent piece of film. And then that negative is used to expose the screen. So we put the film negative onto an exposure unit. The lining is then coated with photosensitive emulsion. We then put this on top of the film negative. And then we close a vacuum bed on top of the exposure unit, which kind of just locks that negative really tight against the emulsion. So with the inks that are used when printing a t-shirt, there's a few different types. So there's water-based and there's plastisol. Water-based is more, it's a really soft feel, so it's kind of in the garment rather than sitting on top. And then there's plastisol, which is a PVC-based ink.
Clients come to Pure Ink to get their stuff printed because us being on the younger side of printers in Australia and Adelaide, we're very approachable. We sort of understand the landscape at the moment in terms of like the digital aspect of things, and we hold ourselves to a high regard for our end product as well.
I was printing for all my friends, and then I realized there's a market. I can print for other people, and I can be that printer that wasn't there for me and didn't want to work with me because I was a small clothing brand. So I was looking for a bigger space to start my own screen printing company, and then here I am, curated. Yeah, we found it.
Actually, I was hosting a party at my own house and I needed something appropriate to wear for that event. So I looked around, I went around scouting, the local stores if I could find an Indian dress, Indian costume for myself. As I went around, whatever was available was pretty dismal and I just didn't like it at all. So that kind of started me thinking, why not I start a clothing and a gift item business as well for myself here. And yeah, that was how it all started. My name is Preeti Kumra and I run a boutique Ethnic India in Adelaide. I sell Indian clothing, jewellery, gift items, home decor and handicrafts. Well, I'm from Nagpur, which is in Maharashtra, western part of India. I have customers from other backgrounds as well. Of course, Indians are my main customers, but I do have even Westerners coming to buy my clothes. And it's really fun serving them because they just love the colors when they walk in. And they love all the costumes and all the heavy embroidery and all the thread work that we have in all our gowns and our dresses. So when I talk about a sari, which is just a name of one garment, but it's actually so diverse because it varies from region to region. So sari, I'll just let you know that it's a 6 yards fabric and that you drape around and you pleat it down, and then it has a drape over the left side of the shoulder. These saris have a story to tell. They have certain symbols that talk about certain religious, have certain religious significance, and they have certain stories to tell. And we come to the Bollywood saris. The Bollywood saris, if you have seen any Hindi Bollywood movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So those saris are like full of lots of glitter, lots of glamour, lots of bold colors. I've just taken a couple of them here. So this comes with this pure chiffon fabric, and with lots and lots of heavy sequin work. This with silver thread work all over, it's called Dapka embroidery. This comes in net fabrics with all cut work done over it with sequins on it. Well, there was quite a lot of struggle when I started out, and of course, as a business owner, that question does pop in your mind that it may not work out. Well, I would like people to know is that I would ask all people to kind of support the local businesses here and to buy local with us. So we are doing, I'm like, people like me, small business owners, we're putting in a lot of hard work. We are sourcing products from all over, say, India, and I'm curating them all together, bringing them under one roof at the best of prices, with the best quality, bringing them to customers out here in Australia. So I would really like to send this message to everyone that support businesses like us so that we can grow and we can serve the community and have the Indian culture kind of to spread out so much more easily here.